Alright, Dylan, here we go. What we're going to do is take out the tools folder from that file I gave you and just drop it on the desktop or somewhere and open up the main EpsxE file. Now inside of the tools is the plugins folder. Go ahead and open it up and then find the plugins folder inside EpsxE. Go ahead and move all the plugins from the tools folder into the plugins folder inside of EpsxE. Go ahead and delete all those text files and the remove me file. We don't need them. Blah-de-blah delete. I thought I was going too fast, so I slowed it down. Anyway, now back out of those folders and go into the BIOS folder in each of them. There, you're going to drop that BIOS inside it. Well, I guess you're going to delete that erase me file first, and then go ahead and move that BIOS into the BIOS folder. Okay, now we're done with that tools folder. You can go ahead and close it, delete it off your desktop, whatever. Go into the EpsxE and go ahead and run it. Now we're going to click on config. We're going to go down to CD-ROM. Inside the CD-ROM, we're going to run the ASPI core. There's a choice for a Win2 core, but we don't need to use that right now. Go ahead and click configure. Now, I don't know what your CD-ROM is set up as, but mine says CDRW/DVD. That's my D drive, so I go ahead and click on that. We don't need any subchannels. Click OK. It's going to bug you a couple of times to restart it, whatever. Click the test button, make sure that it doesn't throw an error. Click OK. Now we're going to go back into config and go to sound. Make sure that it's the SPU core 1.5.2. Go ahead and test it. Alright. Going to make sure that the sound is enabled and the CDDA sound is enabled. Going to click OK. Now we're going to go to config and video. Now click on the drop down box and we're going to pick the Pete's Direct 3D driver. Test it. It'll tell you if it's working or not. Go ahead and click configure. Now we're going to go ahead and click on select device. Now I'm not sure what kind of 3D card you have, but I have an ATI Radeon, so that's the one I'm going to use. The primary sound driver is just going to try to find it itself and probably be kind of slow. So we're going to click on window mode, and we want it 640 by 480, the color depth to be 16-bit. 32 is going to slow it down, and we don't really need it anyway. Now under texture quality, we want it to be the R4, G4, B4, A4, fast but less colorful option. That one's going to be our fastest one. Now with the texture filtering, we don't need it to filter any textures, so we're just going to click on none. Your graphics card VRAM, you can either set it to auto detect. I have mine set to 4. Either way it's going to work, and we want to make sure that the smart texture garbage collection is on. That'll just make sure that any glitches in the game that pop up, it gets rid of fast. Now we're going to auto detect the frame skipping limit, blah blah blah. Now for compatibility, we're going to go with minimum. It may have some missing screens in there, but it won't slow your game down any. The blending to none, and frame buffer textures to 1. Frame buffer access to 0. I know this doesn't mean much to you, but it means stuff to the game. The alpha multipass on, unfiltered frame buffer updates on. Click OK. Now we want to make sure that your gamepad is configured. I just have mine set to default until I plug in my PlayStation controller, but you can set yours to whatever you want. Go ahead and click OK. Now I screwed up here and I exited prematurely, but you can do it either way. We're going to open it back up and go to config. No, see. Forgot to config the BIOS. So we're going to go down to config, BIOS, click on the select button, and you're already in the BIOS folder, or at least it should be. Just to show you, I back out one and select the BIOS folder, SCPH1001. It's going to ask for another restart. Go ahead and kill it. Bring EpsxE back up. Now run. I have a CD-ROM in there. I think it's Final Fantasy VIII. And ta-da, published by Square. So that's pretty much all you need to set that up now. I had a problem where it didn't read any of the ASPI codecs because apparently Windows XP sucks balls. So I had to program a little thingy, and if you need it, I will send it along with this. You pretty much have to double click on it and it's done. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Enjoy your PlayStation emulator.